So today I'm going to be reviewing, demoing, and doing a wear test for you guys of a brand new foundation I'm sure we have all heard about from Tarte. And this is the new Tarte Clay Stick Foundation. And I don't know if you guys know this, but the Tarte Amazonian Clay Original Liquid Formula is my absolute favorite holy grail foundation in the world. I love it. If you like full coverage, if you like a matte finish but yet not super duper drying, and it just really wears well throughout the day, and it doesn't make you oily and keeps you matte, you are going to love that foundation. So I love that. So I had really high hopes about this stick foundation because usually I'm not a huge fan of stick foundations. I only have like a couple in my collection because I'm really picky about them. So I had high hopes for this one, and it definitely let me down in some respects and some things I like, and we're going to definitely get into all of that in the demo, especially telling you guys, you know, what primers work best for it, what skin types are best for it. But let's first talk about the claims that it makes, the cost, and a comparison, and then let's talk about the elephant in the room, the shade ranges, which I'm sure we've all heard about. So first of all, I want to compare it to a couple of the others that I have in my collection. So the Tarte foundation, you are going to get a total of 0.32 ounces for $39, 12 shades. We'll talk about the 12 shade problem in a second, but you've got 0.32 ounces, $39. Very similar to that, we have the Lancome Tinted Ultra Wear Makeup Stick. This one you get 0.31 ounces, $42, 30 shades. Right off the bat, 30 shades. So then going to the more expensive ones, we have the classic Makeup Forever Ultra HD Stick. This is going to be your best bang for your buck. This is 0.44 ounces, $43, and there's 20 shades. Then last but not least, my absolute favorite stick foundation, really great, but ultra expensive for the little tiny amount of product you get, is the Hourglass Vanishing Stick Foundation. This is 0.25 ounces, $46, and there's a total of 26 shades. So clearly, the Tarte one kind of falls somewhere in the middle range of high-end products for the amount of products you get in the stick foundation for the cost, but definitely is lacking in the color range. So my biggest beef with the shade range is they only came out with 12. Compared to their Amazonian Clay foundation, I think they have like 24 or 25 shades in that. So that's definitely a bigger collection to begin with. But they send all these influencers these elaborate PR packages. They send them on these extravagant vacations. So what you're telling me is that you're hyping up this product and you say it's amazing and it claims all these things and it meets those claims and that it's 100% amazing and that all these people are recommending it. Well, how come you can't create a full range of colors so that everyone could try out this product? If you 100% believe that this is the next and best stick foundation, why not come out with all the shades to match everyone right off the bat? If you 100% believe this product is amazing, come out with all of them, because if you're really fair, if you're really deep, you're not going to find a perfect shade in this collection. You're probably going to be turned off. And in a year, when they come out with more shades, I don't know how many of those people are going to come back to Tarte and say, let me try it now, a year later, because you didn't believe in your product enough to make a full shade range for everyone. So I do think that's an issue, especially because the reason I wanted to share the other competitors was also to show you there's significantly more shade ranges in Lancome, Makeup Forever, and even in Hourglass. I mean, 12 is a very limited collection for a company as big as Tarte. I just think a better business practice would be to say, I 100% believe in my product, let's make a full collection so everyone can really try it, because I think it's amazing. So I think every color in the spectrum that tries it is going to love it. But instead, they're turning people off and excluding certain skin colors and undertones, and I think they could do better. But at the end of the day, if the product sucks, who cares about the shade range? Because no one's going to want to use it anyway. So it's really about the quality of the product. So that's what we're going to talk about next. So it does claim it's a 12-hour matte finish. It also says it's for all skin types, and it's medium to buildable to full coverage. So are you guys, so this is arguably the most important part of the video, the demo, where I'm going to be sharing with you guys what primers I think work best, what skin types I think it works best for, showing you guys how I apply it and what it looks like. So the first thing I want to mention is there's 3 different ways that you can use this foundation. You can use it as a foundation like I'm going to today, and then they claim also it can be used as a highlighter or under eye concealer, brightening type of tool, or a contouring stick. I do agree foundation and contouring stick is what you can use it for the best. Contouring would work great because it's super creamy, really easy to blend out like we're going to talk about in a few minutes, as well as it dries to a powder finish, which is great, so it sets. So I think as a contour it's great. Now as an under eye concealer, I did try it out. This baby creases within 5 to 10 minutes. I tried it on one side with no powder. I tried it on the other side with a powder, and within 5 to 10 minutes, no matter what, it creases. Now, the only area on my face, fortunately, at the moment, I do have fine lines and wrinkles, is right underneath my eyes. And I typically, though, never have an issue with concealers creasing, because if I do, they're going back to the store, because I don't need anything creasing underneath here. So I don't typically have that problem, but I did have that problem immediately, like I said, within 5 to 10 minutes. On my face, it fell into those fine lines and wrinkles and really accentuated everything. So I think if you have mature skin and a lot of fine lines or wrinkles around your face, unfortunately it is going to settle into those creases and crevices on your face. I don't think this is necessarily the best foundation for a lot of fine lines, wrinkles, or mature skin. Also, I found that in my pore area, I do have a little bit of texture going on this side of my face. I don't know if you guys can tell. I'm not sure what it is, if it's just my skin reacting to being out in the sun this past weekend or what. But I do have some texture here, as well as I feel like my pores, it definitely sinks into my pores when I wear it. So that leads me into the two primers, or the types of primers that I think work best, which I'm going to use in this video. The first one is the Hourglass Mineral Veil. You could use any kind of primer you want that smooths any texture on your face. So whatever that may be for you, for my choice, I was going with the Hourglass one. And then for filling in those pores, because like I said, I feel like on its own, it kept accentuating this area. I just wasn't liking how it looked compared to all the other foundations I have in my collection that I love. So I definitely needed to use a pore filling one. The one that I happened to be using this week was the Benefit Pore Professional. You can use whatever one you want. I would just suggest a smoothing one. Anywhere you think you have texture that you just need it to kind of glide over and not settle, I would use a smoothing primer. And anywhere where you feel like you need to fill in pores, or again, like smooth out on that nose area, I would definitely use a primer. So now I am going to just put this on my face. It does say it is a creamy formula, which I absolutely agree. It is a very, very creamy formula. And the reason I know and agree with that is because I'm going to use a beauty blender, and I almost never, almost like 100% never use a beauty blender with a stick foundation. They usually just don't blend out well. They're a little bit more stiff, and I just require like a brush or an artiste type of brush to blend everything out. But I actually prefer using a beauty blender with this foundation. So that's how I know that it is creamy. Now, it's still a stick foundation. It's not a liquid. So I find that I have to apply more pressure onto my face when I'm using the beauty blender than I would with a liquid. So yes, it does require a little bit more pressing onto the skin and a little bit more effort because it's not a liquid. But I do think it blends out nicely with a beauty blender, and I do actually prefer it compared to a brush with this specific foundation. I find that the brush can be a little streaky or just kind of sit on top of the skin, and the beauty blender makes it a little bit more natural and blend into the skin better. So I actually really prefer it, and like I said, it's a very creamy and easy to use formula. As far as the coverage, they do say that it is full coverage. I don't think it's full coverage. Yes, I used a beauty blender today because that's how I prefer it. But even with a brush, it doesn't cover up this acne scarring that I have going on right now. And so that's why I don't think it's full coverage. It's definitely not full coverage like the Amazonian Clay regular foundation is. I'd say this is a solid medium coverage. It is buildable like they say, but I would not build it up on your entire face. I think it starts to get cakey, and it's just not best built up everywhere. I think if you want to build it up in little spots, you can. Just be careful. A little bit goes a longer way when you're precisely concealing your face. So I would not go in with like a whole nother layer on an area you're trying to conceal. I would just do a little dot and then start to like stipple it and blend it in with more of a precise brush. Otherwise it can get cakey really, really fast. All right, so now that we're up close and personal, I'm gonna try to cover up these little spots just a little bit more. And you can see that helped some, but I do think when I get really close, you're gonna see that it definitely starts to get a little bit cakey right there. So I want you guys to see what it looks like right here. So again, this area right here for me, whatever reason right now, is like my problem area where I'm getting a lot of texture, and I find like the redness and a little bit of that texture is still coming through. Whereas on this side, it is a little bit better and that my pores are covered up a little bit more. Here's what that forehead looks like. But like I said, I still see a little bit of redness right here and that it doesn't cover as perfectly as I would want. So definitely medium coverage. All right, you guys, I do have the rest of my makeup on right now. It is now 1:48, and I actually started putting this on around like 11:20. So it's been on for about 2 hours, and this is what it looks like. Let me get up close as well so you guys can see. Like I said, I think it wears a little bit better as you start to wear it and doesn't look as powdery as it did before, but I still find like this area is not the cutest. But the forehead's looking okay. This area again is looking a little bit kind of powderier. I just don't like how it's not absolutely smooth and perfect. But this is what it looks like after 2 hours. I am gonna go run some errands. I have a couple hair appointments to go to, and then I will check in with you guys kind of towards the end of the day and give you guys my final thoughts. So I will see you guys in a couple hours. Hey you guys, I am back for the final check-in to give you guys my final thoughts. Yes, I did just come back from my haircut slash like toning, hair balayage, like whatever. So that's why my hair is down and a little bit shorter and a little bit different. But I'm looking at my laptop. It is now 6:29. So this foundation has been on for 7 hours and I'm like itching to get it off. You guys, I don't like this foundation. So I will show you guys a close-up in a second, but the only time that I enjoyed wearing this foundation, regardless of powder, no primers, no primers, completely by itself, was with an oil in it, the maracuja oil, which I only have a sample of it. I don't even own that. So the only time I actually enjoyed it was using it with that oil, because I find that this foundation, despite it feeling creamy and despite it blending really nicely and feeling like it blends out really easily because it's creamy, it looks so dry on my face. So the only time that I liked the way it looked was with that maracuja oil, and I don't know why, and I don't believe in buying another product to make another product work. It's one thing if I buy a primer, use a different setting powder, like whatever it may be, just because I want to enhance the actual product or because I want to maybe change up the way it looks, like whether it's matte, whether it's dewy, like whatever. That's one thing, but I don't like having to use another product. And I feel like with this stick foundation, it just makes my skin look not great, and it makes it look dry, and it doesn't feel dry, but it looks dry and cakey. So I don't believe in having to use another product, so for that reason, I don't enjoy it. Like I said, I don't own the oil. I'm not about to go buy like an oil of some sort, or maracuja oil, or the drops that Tarte's coming out with just to make this foundation work. Honestly, if you're looking for the benefits that this foundation was going for, the fact that it was matte, the fact that it's 12 hours, it has all these really great ingredients, honestly, just stick with the original Amazonian Clay foundation. It is 10 times better. All the issues I have with this foundation being dry looking on the face, and the fact that I do have to use different primers or an oil with it, I don't have those issues with the original formula. So I would highly recommend the original formula, and I would pass on this one. So let's go ahead and zoom in because I want you guys to see what I'm talking about. So can you guys see right here like how dry and cakey this looks? Like it just does not look good. And I told you guys I built it up a little bit down here because they claim it's buildable, so I wanted to show you guys that it does get cakey when you do that. Here's what the pore area looks like. I mean, right here and right here it looks dry. It just looks dry all around my nose. So here's what it looks like on my forehead. You can see like what I mean about fine lines and wrinkles. Like it's got like some marks right here. It just looks really dry. Ignore the fact that up here it kind of came off. Like I said, I have a sunburn, so odds are it wasn't going to last there anyways, but it doesn't look good in this area. Overall, I just don't think this foundation looks good on me. Like, yes, I didn't get shiny. Like, woohoo, that's a combo oily girl's dream. Foundations that don't make me oily, but this does not look good. It didn't look good in the beginning. I don't feel like it looks good now, so to me, it's just a pass. I'll leave it at the store. If you want to try an Amazonian Clay formula, definitely just go try the original one in the regular liquid form. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review and seeing the demo and getting to see a 7-hour wear test of the new Tarte Amazonian Clay Stick Foundation, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!